Hello, I'm Jason Roten with Primitive Life Training. Today I want to do an arrow making demonstration for you guys on the group. I have a arrow that I made myself. Point. Hafted in with pine pitch glue, wrapped in sinew, covered in hide glue, turkey feathers, fletched down with that same hide glue, wrapped and covered with the same hide glue. I've made these arrows before in the past based upon the native woodland Indians that were in these parts. The only part is the obsidian. This would have been chert or trade flint. They might have had some obsidian if they traded with tribes that far west, or with tribes that had traded that far west. But hand napped point. The arrow shafts, I've got to find out what the name of this wood is. I don't know. It's a bush. It grows in the woods around here. Looks something similar to a huckleberry bush. Leaves are a little bit different textured and pretty much shaped the same, but they'll have these limbs that grow out and fold over, and then from there the limbs grow out of those, and they're just, some of them are just pretty much straight. You get lucky every now and then, find perfect straight one, man. All you gotta do is cut it, half it, and put your fletching on, and you got an arrow. As you can see, I cut my knocks into the wood. I wrap my sinew up and pretty much saturate it with hide glue and allow it to dry. And as it dries, I roll my fingers around it to kind of take the stickiness off the outside of it. Stickiness on the inside stays. With real sinew, that can be achieved by chewing the sinew in your mouth and wrapping it around it and splicing more in as you go. It makes its own glue that way. I won't suggest you do that, but you can do it. I did it. I'm still here 30 something years later, so anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to make this. You don't have to find that bush that I use. You can go out there and find your own, but basically what you're looking for is an arrow-sized limb or sapling that's straight as it possibly can be, and you need 12 to 24 of them, because what you're going to do is bundle these with whatever binding you want to use. I've even used copper wire, just wrapped it real tight around the bundle so it just can't slip apart, and let them dry. These dried for a year. I keep forgetting my camera's down here, so anyway, these dried for a year. They're real good and hard shafts. That's what you want to pick, some kind of hardwood shaft, about the size and diameter. Take a carbon arrow with you so that you can kind of compare. River cane's real good. You have to bundle them and sand and bend them just like you do these, but then in the end you wind up with some pretty good arrows using cane. So you go out, you gather your arrow bundle, And I have I just had 6 or 7, 8, something like that. Some of them got turned into firewood spindles, so I use a real thin spindle when I do my fireboard. So my bow drill fire. These can be used to make bows for doing bow drills. But anyway, you can get you a bundle, like I said, 12 to 24 in a bundle, and you want to bundle them up, you know, and just, you know, every few inches go down it and just, you know, tie them real tight so they're, you know, straight as possible, all the way down it, no gaps, you know, as much as you can. And then, you know, sometimes I'll even put a little wood glue down here on the ends and stuff to keep the ends from cracking and to keep them from bowing out at the edges and everything. So once you have your shafts dried, basically what you want to do is you want to get these little nodules where the leaves and the little limbs came out down and whittled down to the size of the shaft and everything, and begin removing your bark like this all the way down it. And what I do is I take my knife at a 90-degree angle and just scrape like that right there. And if you'll watch, you'll see it coming off of there. And you just work that whole branch, working it down, working it down, working it down. When you get to those little spots where those limbs are, you want to just whittle them right on off, just like you would if you was whittling the stick. Just be careful to just get that little nodule, and don't, you know, you can work through there and work all of them down at one time so that your scraping goes good. But I didn't get to really with this one because of the purpose of the demonstration. But anyway, you get my meaning, and you want to do that pretty much all over the shaft, and just work your way down it. And this will work it to the point that it's the same diameter pretty much all the way up and down the shaft. It also helps, you know, get it smoothed down so it's aerodynamic and, you know, flies through the air effortlessly. In some of these shafts, if you look at the Indians' arrows that they've got that have been preserved for 100 years or so in a museum, they're just not perfectly straight. A lot of that has to do with the moisture and everything, but you know, I look at them and I see little discrepancies that most people don't because of the attention to detail. But anyway, you scrape all that off. Once you get that shaft down to looking like this, just all the way down, it's about the same diameter and the same smoothness all the way down. If you look at it though, we have a slight bend right in here and right here. From here to here, it's got a bend in it, so we got to get that out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get a fire going right quick so I can get some heat to this, and I will show you how to straighten your arrow before you get to putting the fletching and the shafting, the hafting on. Alright, anyway, let me get the fire going. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, got the fire going here. Maybe I can keep my camera from falling down. So we're gonna get this bend out of this shaft right quick, and then we'll pick up tomorrow. Basically what I'm gonna do is heat right here. I'm gonna hold it up above the fire. You can even pass it through it real quick. Don't stop, because all you're wanting is the heat. When it starts to char like that, that's bad. It'll cause it to break, so you don't want the wood to burn. Hold it above your heat and then bend against that bend and hold it while it cools. You do have to sit there and hold it for a little bit. Let it cool off or it will just bend right back. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is heat your beds. And I like to use the tail feathers of the turkey. They have a natural straight vein there, and a natural paper on the thick side, so you get pretty much symmetrical fletches. So basically what you're going to do is take a knife or a razor and split right down that. I love you too, buddy. And I like to get the thicker side of the feather. A lot of people say you can just stick it in that vein and draw it perfectly out, but that is not the way nature and feathers grow, so you have to kind of fight with it sometimes to get it to come out the way that you want it to. A good fletching is just about the sole of the arrow. And basically what you want to do is separate that vein there as best as you can. And if you can get it split like that right there, you can just kind of pry it apart all the way down to where you need it. I got a wild man going on here, so anyway, you want to cut back down that vein, cut the feathers off of it. About a quarter, about half to an inch. You're going to wind up a little bit right there, get your happy one side down too. And you just basically want to flip your feather out and trim it off straight. So you got those little pointy tops right out. And what I do is just basically take off about a quarter of an inch all the way down, put it on this natural taper, and you have that, alright? You take your original feather and you trim it off the same place. And trim it back on the feather in the same spot. So your feathers are symmetrical like this. Same size, same shape, same amount sticking out at the bottom. And you just kind of clean it up. And you got that. And you get your those up. And you're ready to fletch it. Hello, I'm Jason Roten with Primitive Life Training. Today I'm going to finish up the arrow making video here that I started last night. Going to make one of these. Now, in the other part of the video, we saw how to harvest we talked about harvesting the shafts, what kind of shafts to use and everything, straightening the shaft. And today, also I did last night, the fletches. I went ahead and cut them. I'll just go ahead and show them to you. You can see them a little bit better today than you could last night. This is how the fletchings will look. You know, they're all supposed to be same basic shape and size, and cut the same basic way. Anyway, got that done. And also the next thing you need to do is choose your point that you're going to use. Going to use this agate point. I think it's agate. I think that's what Daryl said it was, but decided to go with this one instead of one that I had now. I like this one a little better. So anyway, we got our point, we got our fletches ready. So let's talk about the shaft. As you can see, I'm pretty well straight. Got a little bit of a bend right here, but I'll have some more straightening out to do. Some of these shafts want to be a little retentive. I got a little bit more sanding to do on it, but I can do that. Here's where I'm going to have my fletches. Here's where I'm going to be hafted. My bend's in the middle. So anyway, basically got a straight shaft. Now, what we need to figure out we want the cut to be for our notch. I usually take a hacksaw and do this. I just pretty much score it the way it's going to go. And start sawing. Alright, now that I got that done, I want to go the same way. And what I do is I put my fingernail in there like that, so if it gets turned either which way, I will know it. That's pretty much straight up and down. You don't always get it scored right where you want it, but at least I know in which direction to saw. So this is going to be the end where I halved in my point. I'm just going to make a cut, an incision in there like that. Flip that right over. I'm pretty well straight on both sides, so got that ready. Also, I did get a little off. I like to have mine straight, so I'm like that much off. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit out of that center and go ahead and straighten that hole up. It's going to make my hafting section right there a little bit wider like I need it to be anyway, so go ahead and check it again. You can even use something like this to slip in that slot just so you can tell, and I'm pretty straight now. So alright, so the next thing I want to talk about doing is going ahead and gluing down the fletches and getting them in place. When I make arrows, I basically do it whichever way is quickest, and you'll have to go ahead and whittle out your knot first, but you can do that after you put the fletching on. I have done it that way before, so I'm going to do it this way now. You don't want to run your fletches all the way up like that. You want them to be sort of down this way a little bit, so you got plenty of arrow to grab onto when you're drawing back. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to back off about 2 to 2 1/4 inches. I'm just going to make me a very slight ring all the way around that, so I know where my top of my fletches is going to ride, which is going to be about that far down. Now on my other one I didn't go but about that far down, but I like to put my fletches low sometimes, because like I said, it gives you a lot to grab hold of right here, and it also seems to fly better sometimes. But we're going to glue these fletches down like this, and then we will wrap them with the sinew all the way down the feather. Now here is my hide glue, very sticky stuff. I'm going to try to tilt the phone so you can see it. There it is. Well, There we go. Bunch of real sticky stuff. Once you touch it, it just... Okay, so my camera shut off and I didn't know it. Don't remember where it shut off at, but I went ahead and glued 2 of the fletches on. You can see they're all the way down to right here. What you're going to do, make sure that your quills are pretty straight across the bottom there. I just run my glue up, my hide glue up and down the shaft right there. Make sure that it dries a little bit first before I try to stick the fletching down. And I just lay that fletching right down in that glue and mash it to the shaft. Then what we're going to do is take some felt sinew and I'm going to run it up underneath one of the quills here. It's hard to get it done without getting just terribly sticky, so expect that to happen. I'm going to run it up underneath the quill like that, and I'm going to just at first get me a slow wrap going on and just work my way back up and around. Pulling it tight as I go around. I've got about 3 to 5 yards of sinew here. Like I said, I'm just going to keep working my way up. I've took hide glue and put it all around that where I'm going to tie it so that it will be really saturated with that hide glue as it dries all around it. And I'm just going to keep wrapping and wrapping until I get all the way to the top of those quills, and then I'm going to work my way back down it. You want it as good and symmetrical as you could possibly get it. Every now and then you'll get a little piece of a feather that wants to act retarded, but you want to get every bit of your quill tied down with that sinew so it ain't coming up at all. And you really want to start putting the pressure on it, tightening it down as you come back around. You'll have to keep that little flap out of there too. And that's going to really secure that fletching down. And then we're going to come in and we're going to split some of the fletchings out where you can get the string, the sinew down through it. And we're going to come around and work that sinew into there. As we come down, and you just have to kind of play with it to see where it's going to go next. Alright, so I'm running out of time on my phone is what the deal is. I got 7 minutes to finish this in, so as you can see, I went ahead and wrapped the sinew. You can see how I just went down and wrapped it, and then when I got to the bottom, I just wrapped up all the ends of my fletchings real good, and it's glued down with hot glue. Now, the next thing I did was I opened up my area for my point to go in. that's going to be the next thing we install. We're going to do that really quick, hopefully. For the sake of time, I'm going to show it to you like this. You just pretty much heat this up. This is your pine pitch glue, and we're going to rub us off a good bit right there at that opening there. Get it in there real good. Heat it up. Get it running real good. And we're going to shove our arrow point down into the hole right there. Now, I'm going to heat up some more of this. And I'm really going to get it there on my point where it's hafted into the arrow at. Alright, you see what I did? Now I'm just going to heat that up. Take my stick and kind of push it back off that point. You have to kind of mess around with it every now and then. I have to start over like I'm going to have to do now. I think it'd be better if I did it like I did the other one and just put it on the point. So sometimes this stuff cools off and hardens real quick, so I'm going to haft it right onto the point itself. If I had a fire going or a candle, maybe I could be able to do this a little easier. There'd be less cooling time there, because I'm going to have to put it on the point like this and then reheat it, slide it down into the arrow, and then we'll put the sinew across it. Got 4 minutes to get this thing done. I feel like I'm all forged in fire. And you're going to just kind of fix your point in there how it works. Now then, there we go. We're going to get a little bit more of the hide glue, and we're just going to go right around it where we're going to have the sinew. That's going to help hold the sinew to the arrow the way that you would get the real glue from real sinew, by wetting it and wrapping it. And so I'm going to get a little bit of the tip end of this into the hide glue there, so it'll stick where I'm going to start wrapping it at. And I'm going to come down, back up, around, down, back up, and sometimes you cut your string. So I'm going to start down here. I'm going to just come up so that I get that other part of that string in there. I'm going to go back to wrapping it. Try not to pull real hard around the edges of those points, because it will cut it loose. And once you get a couple of wraps up around the top of your thing. Go back. See there? Don't pull too hard, Jason. And we're just gonna start wrapping again, because we're gonna cover all that with hide glue anyway. Doesn't take much with that sharp flint. To cut your sinew. And I'm just really gonna wrap down on it, tighten down, and go up and down that shaft a few times, up to the bottom of my arrow point, back down. Alright, once you're done, you'll take your little excess sinew there and just rub it flat. Just a little bit more hide glue all over it. Really wet that sinew down. Just saturate it with that